You are eating the same food you ate at 25. You are moving the same way. But something has changed. The weight is creeping on. The energy is draining out. And no matter what you try, the needle barely moves. You think you are broken. You are not broken. You are biochemically ambushed. After 40, your body quietly flips a series of biological switches that nobody told you about. And the standard advice, eat less, move more, completely ignores every single one of them. Today, we are going under the hood. We are going to look at the exact hormonal and cellular mechanisms that slow your metabolism after 40, why generic dieting makes it dramatically worse, and the precise protocol that works with your biology instead of fighting it. Let's start with the engine itself. Most people think of metabolism as a speed dial. Fast metabolism, lucky person. Slow metabolism, unlucky person. That framing is wrong and it is costing you. Your metabolism is not a dial. It is a committee, a collection of organs, hormones, and cellular processes that are constantly negotiating how much energy to burn, store, or recycle. The liver, the thyroid, the muscle tissue, the mitochondria inside every cell, they are all voting. And after 40, the votes start shifting. There are 3 primary betrayals happening inside your body right now. Each one compounds the other. Together, they create the metabolic wall that most people hit and never climb over. Here is the number that changes everything. After the age of 30, the average adult loses between 3% and 8% of their muscle mass every decade. After 40, that rate accelerates. By 60, if you have done nothing about it, you may have lost 20% or more of the muscle you had in your prime. This condition is called sarcopenia, and most doctors never mention it at a routine checkup. Why does this matter for metabolism? Because muscle is your body's most metabolically expensive tissue. 1 pound of muscle burns approximately 6 calories per day at rest. That sounds small until you do the math. Lose 10 pounds of muscle over a decade, which is entirely possible without intervention, and your resting metabolic rate drops by roughly 60 calories per day. Over a year, that is 21,900 calories your body is no longer burning. That is 6 pounds of fat, gained from doing absolutely nothing differently. The mechanism is a hormone called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor. In your 20s, IGF-1 keeps your muscle protein synthesis running constantly. Minor damage repaired overnight, recovery fast. After 40, IGF-1 output begins to decline. The repair crews show up less frequently. Muscle breaks down faster than it rebuilds. The warehouse empties slowly, silently, and most people blame their willpower instead of their biology. This is the one the industry profits from ignoring. Your metabolic rate is directly governed by 2 hormonal systems, and both of them are in decline after 40. The first is your thyroid. Your thyroid gland produces hormones that act like a thermostat for your entire metabolism. T3, the active thyroid hormone, controls how fast your cells burn fuel at the mitochondrial level. After 40, thyroid output decreases subtly, not enough for most doctors to flag it on a standard test, but enough for your cellular furnaces to run slightly cooler. Your body burns a little less. You store a little more. The thermostat drifts down by a few degrees and you wonder why you are always cold and always tired. The second system is sex hormones. In women, the drop in estrogen during perimenopause and menopause directly increases fat storage in the abdominal region. Estrogen plays a direct role in insulin sensitivity. When it drops, cells become more resistant to insulin, meaning more glucose gets shuttled into fat storage instead of energy. In men, the decline in testosterone after 40 directly reduces muscle protein synthesis and increases visceral fat accumulation. The result for both sexes is the same. The middle expands, the muscle shrinks, the metabolic rate falls. These are not character flaws. These are physiological events happening on a timetable your body inherited from evolution. This is the deepest layer and the most overlooked. Inside every one of your cells are mitochondria. These are the actual engines. They convert fuel into ATP, the chemical energy your cells run on. At 25, you have dense, efficient, high-performing mitochondria. By 45, without intervention, mitochondrial density has declined and the remaining mitochondria are running less efficiently. They produce more waste, more oxidative stress, and less energy per unit of fuel consumed. Think of it this way. Your car used to get 40 miles per gallon. Now it gets 28. You are putting in the same fuel but getting less power and more exhaust. You feel it as fatigue. Your cells feel it as metabolic drag. Here is the critical point. Mitochondrial decline is not fixed. It is reversible, but only if you give the body the right signal. This is where most people destroy their own metabolism without realizing it. When you drastically cut calories after 40, your body does not respond the way it did at 25. At 25, cutting calories burned fat. After 40, cutting calories does something different first. It burns muscle. Remember, muscle is expensive to maintain. When your body detects a significant caloric deficit, it looks for tissue to sacrifice. And muscle, that metabolically costly tissue, becomes the first target. So you diet hard. You lose weight on the scale, but a significant portion of that weight is muscle. Your resting metabolic rate drops further. You plateau. You cut more. You lose more muscle. The cycle tightens. 6 months later, you weigh less but you are metabolically weaker than when you started. This is why most people regain every pound within 2 years of a restrictive diet. The engine has been quietly dismantled. This is where everything changes. The protocol to reverse metabolic decline after 40 operates on 3 levers. You have to pull all 3. Pulling 1 or 2 produces modest results. Pulling all 3 produces a transformation. Lever 1 is resistance training. Not cardio. Not walking. Resistance. Your muscle tissue only rebuilds when it is given a reason to rebuild. Mechanical load, lifting weights, body weight resistance, resistance bands, creates microdamage in muscle fibers. Your body repairs that damage and builds back slightly stronger. This stimulates IGF-1 output. It forces mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria. 2 to 3 sessions per week of compound movements is the minimum effective dose. Squats, deadlifts, rows, presses. You do not need to become an athlete. You need to send the signal. Lever 2 is protein timing. After 40, your muscle protein synthesis response to protein is blunted. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. At 25, 20 grams of protein after a workout maximally stimulates muscle repair. After 40, you may need 35 to 40 grams to get the same response. This means your protein intake needs to increase, not decrease, as you age. Aim for 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. Distribute it across meals. Do not let more than 4 to 5 hours pass without a protein-containing meal. Your muscle tissue is constantly making a decision, rebuild or break down. Protein is the vote for rebuild. Lever 3 is metabolic cycling. Your body is an adaptation machine. Eat the same calories every day and your metabolism calibrates to that level. It becomes your new normal. The furnace adjusts. To prevent this, you need to introduce strategic variation. 2 or 3 days per week of mild caloric surplus, focused on protein and complex carbohydrates, keeps thyroid output elevated and prevents the metabolic downshift that comes from chronic restriction. This is not a cheat day. This is a calculated signal to your endocrine system that resources are available and the furnace should stay hot. If you start this protocol tomorrow and feel nothing in the first 2 weeks, do not stop. Your metabolism does not flip overnight. Mitochondrial biogenesis takes 4 to 6 weeks of consistent training stimulus to produce measurable changes. Hormonal adaptation takes longer. The people who fail this protocol quit in week 3, exactly when the biology is about to shift. Expect soreness the first 2 weeks. Expect fatigue. This is not damage. This is construction. Your body is building infrastructure it has not needed in years. One more critical point. Sleep is not optional in this protocol. Human growth hormone, your primary muscle repair and fat mobilization signal, is released in deep sleep. Chronically sleeping under 6 hours cuts HGH output significantly. If you are doing everything right in the gym and at the table but sleeping 5 hours a night, you are building on sand. Sleep is the night shift of the repair crew. You cannot skip it and expect the warehouse to be rebuilt by morning. Your metabolism is not broken. It has been given bad instructions for a decade. It's less. Do cardio. Ignore the muscle loss. Ignore the hormones. Ignore the mitochondria. The result is a slower engine, a softer body, and the creeping certainty that this is just what getting older feels like. It is not. This is what ignoring biology feels like. The biology is fixable. The protocol exists. The only question is whether you are going to use it. If this breakdown changed how you think about your metabolism, drop a comment below. Tell me where you are starting from and what your biggest obstacle has been. I read every single one. Hit like if this was worth your time. And subscribe because we are just getting started pulling back the curtain on what your body is actually doing.